3 days to go now before Britain's general election, and it is a dead heat. The two main political parties, the Conservatives and Labour, are running neck and neck. Neither side is expected to win a parliamentary majority. CCTV's UK correspondent Richard Bestic is with us now from London. A dead heat in UK politics. Pretty unusual, Richard. What are the factors at play here?
Well, Mike, you're right to say it's unusual. Since the end of the Second World War, there have been 18 general elections in Britain, 16 of which produced a majority one-party government. In electoral terms, Britain has always been regarded internationally as reliable, if a little unexciting. But now the voters have thrown out their voting patterns. It doesn't look at the moment as if either of the major parties will be able to form a parliamentary majority or government, even with the support of smaller parties. Why? Well, as Labour leader Ed Miliband said last week, there's disillusion among voters with the body politics, possibly reflected in a long-term decline in turnout figures. And then there's the rise of a number of new parties which are disrupting the established system. In short, Mike, it's not looking like Britain can make up its mind. The country's famously garrulous Fleet Street press, as confused as the rest of us. Some papers debating whether the unprecedented arrival of a new royal baby in the middle of an election campaign will offer some political bounce to one side or the other. Only problem is, guess what? They can't agree on which party would be the beneficiary. Like everything else in this strange election, it's an unknown.
The so-called baby bounce, that's a first. I don't think I've ever heard that in an election. Let me ask you this, Richard. Any estimation at all which way this thing's going to go? I know making predictions not your job, and this one's a tough one. Any idea what might happen?
Here's just one possible scenario, Mike. Fans of Braveheart will be pleased to hear the Scottish nationalists will, in all likelihood, win Scotland resoundingly, possibly every single seat, according to at least one opinion poll last week. Prime Minister David Cameron's Conservatives will possibly win England, although more in the countryside than in the cities. And at the end of all this, Labour's Ed Miliband will end up forming the government. Not ideal, say those who are worried about whether a minority government has the right to rule, and not simple either. If that is the income, if that is the outcome, it could take days, if not weeks, of hard bargaining to negotiate a government. And even then, the bookmakers are currently giving good odds it'll be unstable. Politically, Mike, boring old Britain has just got very interesting.
And likely to stay that way for some time, it sounds like. Richard, thanks so much. Richard Bestic.